Sizewell C nuclear plant in Suffolk. The project will be backed by both public and private investors, including EDF, Centrica and Canada's Le Cais. The UK government will hold a 44.9% stake. Finance Minister Rachel Reeves says the plant will boost energy security and cut reliance on foreign suppliers. Sizewell C is expected to power 6 million homes and create 10,000 jobs during construction, with completion targeted for the mid-2030s. Let's have a listen to what Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor of the United Kingdom, has had to say.
Really excited today to be able to announce the final investment decision for Sizewell C. This is something that politicians have spoken about for years, and today we are actually delivering. This is a public-private consortium. We as a government are putting in money, but that means that government taxpayers can get a return on that investment. But it's also backed by EDF, by Centrica, the owners of British Gas, and by one of the big Canadian pension funds. So this has got both public and private backing, and it's possible because of the decisions that I made in the budget and the spending review to boost our energy security, to invest in cleaner, cheaper energy, so that we're not at the mercy of foreign dictators for our basic energy needs anymore.
Well, joining us to discuss this announcement, Gleb Borakov, who's an international affairs expert, joining us from Moscow. Gleb, thank you ever so much for taking the time to speak with us. What's the significance of this announcement, given that there has been so much energy insecurity, specifically looking at ramifications of the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict? Is this the United Kingdom taking back control of energy for themselves and, of course, potentially powering up to 6 million homes?
Well, I certainly hope so. As a UK resident, I can say that the energy prices have tripled, nearly tripled at the peak over the last 3 years. So, which has had a major impact on, average British household, effectively removing all the surplus cash flow that people had to, use for other things. So definitely Britain needs to, it's been, for quite a long time, Britain had to do something about energy security. This reference to, Britain depending on foreign dictators, I think it's somewhat overblown. I think the actual electricity and gas crisis came. In fact, the prices have started increasing way before the Russia-Ukraine war started. So this is a structural issue, structural UK issue, rather than consequence of increasing energy rather than a consequence of increasing global energy prices.
Yes.
But in any
Sorry
case,
to interject, Gleb. We are running shorter of time. I do want to ask you one further question on this topic before we move on. Of course, cost of living is something which you just mentioned there. We heard Rachel Reeves talk about taxpayer investment, but also taxpayer returns. In the United Kingdom, we've seen similar projects as this, not necessarily with energy, but something like HS2, overrun in expenditure and not end up delivering on what the initial promise was. Could this potentially risk being a burden for the taxpayer in the coming years within a finish date of 2035 or mid-2030s?
Well, ultimately, it's going to be a burden on the taxpayer because the funding model that they're using for this project is called RAB, which is the Regulated Asset Base model, which effectively involves intermediate payments to the contractor whilst the project is still ongoing. So effectively, the British state, who is effectively taxpayers' money, their funding, they will effectively be liable for any cost overruns, which are inevitable in these type of projects. So yes, ultimately, it will be the taxpayer who will bear the costs. And I understand that one of the reasons why this funding model has been chosen is because EDF, who is a developer of the project, has already had major cost overruns on another project that they're working on at the moment. So I guess they just said, we're not going to take the risk ourselves. It needs to be backed up by the taxpayer. So all in all, for sure, the taxpayer will take the burden and will bear the burden. But in the longer run, I'm hoping that this new project will allow UK to restore the energy balance and hopefully drive down the price of electricity.
Yes, Gleb, if you stay with us, we are going to move on now. As a British